Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and Texas Governor Greg Abbott has just given an interview where he drew a line in the sand and issued a challenge to President Joe Biden. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. So, President Joe Biden, as you know, took the case to the Supreme Court of Greg Abbott defending his own border with razor wire because the federal government just won't do it. Now, the Supreme Court struck it down. They sent it back to the Fifth Circuit, which means that Biden and his crew could come in and cut down the razor wire. But hold on. Governor Greg Abbott then invokes it's an invasion act where he declares an invasion at the southern border. Sorry, that escaped me for a second. But he declares an invasion at the southern border. Now, the Constitution specifically states that a governor in the state itself can declare an invasion and take actions to prevent said invasion. Now, we're on very tricky constitutional ground, and this thing's going back to court. And Greg Abbott, well, he's all for it, and he's daring Biden to come bring it. I want you to listen to this interview and then give me your thoughts on it. Do you stand with Texas? Do you stand with them in defending themselves? I want to know in the comments. Really want to know. I also want you to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really helps us out. I'm Carmine Sabia for Explain America. We love you guys. God bless you. Take care, everybody.
Is stepping up and doing it with all that razor wire that you're showing right now.
Mm-hmm. And you've committed to putting up more razor wire, where the U.S. Supreme Court just a few days ago said that the feds are allowed to cut through the wire that you've been watching yourself for a couple years now. And just to go back to your first answer that you mentioned there, this was your statement yesterday. The federal government has broken the compact between the United States and the states. The executive branch of the United States has a constitutional duty to enforce federal laws protecting states, including immigration laws on the books right now. So if you lost this week at the U.S. Supreme Court, does this now go back there? And how would you expect to win a second time around?
Sure. One quick point of clarification. Something, Bill, you just said that everybody's saying, and that is that the Supreme Court, you said the Supreme Court said what Texas cannot do. If you look at what the Supreme Court actually issued, they didn't write any type of opinion. All they did was to vacate a Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals order and to send it back to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. It's two sentences. There was no opinion about anything about razor wire or what Texas is doing or anything like that. But that point aside, regardless of what federal statute may exist, the supremacy clause means that the Constitution itself is the supreme law of the land. The Constitution itself provides Texas with a right of self-defense in this case because the United States has abandoned its responsibility to defend Texas.
So if you can get this case on the merits to the Supreme Court, you could win.
So, Dana, first, now I think maybe we will get it to the Fifth Circuit on its merits,
right,
where I believe we can win. And I do believe that when it gets to the Supreme Court, we can win. I don't know how and why the justices voted the way they did, but there seemed to be 4 justices who indicated at least an appetite to hear the case as is. A fair point is the case that was presented to the United States Supreme Court actually did not have very much of a record upon which an appellate court can actually make a decision. So those who may not have voted in favor of Texas, or those who voted to send it back to the Fifth Circuit, they may have thought in their mind that there's not enough record for them to make a decision. But we don't know that, Dana, and this is very important, again, because there were no sentences or paragraphs or pages of an opinion written by the Supreme Court, so no one knows at all what they were thinking. All we know is they wanted to send it back to the Fifth Circuit.
Governor, I know you were just overseas in India, but I know you paid attention to New Hampshire the other night and what the exit polling told us and the entrance polling and our voter analysis said. Immigration is topic number 1. We saw it in Iowa. We saw it in New Hampshire. So Americans are thinking about this, okay? And I'm curious about sort of the shadow story here that a lot of people don't talk about, and that is what the administration's doing with Mexico. And this has been going on for some time. Maybe